Our court case will be over. Lopez versus the United States. My name is Aaron Miles.
I'm Devin McGuire.
I'm Sam Bass.
Slide 1. Background. On March 1992, Alfonso Lopez, a 12th grader student from San Antonio, Texas, took a .38 handgun into school with 5 bullets and the intention to sell it to an unknown person after school. Due to an anonymous tip to the school officials, Lopez was questioned about the firearm. After admitting to having the gun, he was charged with carrying a weapon on school grounds, which was quickly dropped by the state and changed for carrying a gun in a gun-free zone, to which Lopez pleaded not guilty. The Commerce Clause included the power to regulate local activities as long as those significant affect interstate commerce. The Gun-Free Zone Act is an act in the U.S. Congress prohibiting an unauthorized individual from knowingly possessing a loaded and unsecured firearm at a place that the individual knows is a school zone. Slide 2. The court ruling. The court ruling was that the Gun-Free Zone Act was an unconstitutionally outreach, so they sided with Lopez. Ultimately, they reached this ruling by stating things like commerce is harmed and people feel unsafe to attend that certain place. In this case, it was the school zone. The court stated that it was a criminal statute and had nothing to do with the commerce or economy to rule against him.
Slide 3. The impact on American society. This impacted society by confirming that the Gun-Free Zone Act was not applicable to the Interstate Commerce Clause at first. This first ruling made it perfectly legal to sell firearms and anything else you wanted on school property because the Interstate Commerce Act protected these rights. But this would have allowed anybody to bring a firearm or something that they had intended to sell into schools and sell them. The Supreme Court later decided that this could hurt the economy and that it could also cause a criminal issue, which meant that firearms should not be brought into schools and brought back the Gun-Free School Zone Act. So this decided that it was completely illegal to bring guns or anything else that could potentially cause harm and sell it at or in the school zone, which would affect us, especially in days like now where there are, a larger amount of school shootings and things of the sort, and this very easily could have protected that.
Slide 4. Effect on power. This case upheld the system of federalism, ruling that cases about guns in schools was to be handled and decided on by the state rather than the federal government. In this case, it was decided that Congress had exerted too much power over state governments despite the Commerce Clause, which allowed them to control cases in the state local governments. This reaffirmed the boundaries of power between federal and state government, ultimately lending less power to the federal government in this particular case, which was one of the first cases to take away federal power rather than state power. And our citations.